Hola, ¿cómo está? Collective. How are you doing today, beautiful collective? Hmm? I hope you're doing really good today. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome into your reading. We are doing the reading for Friday. I'm going to pre-record it the day before because I fell a little bit behind this week, not gonna lie. However, um, really nice energy that I'm tapping into for today. I thought I would put that on the table here because I'm feeling something really nice coming through. So we're going to see what this reading is all about. If you're new to readings, please use your discernment, of course. If the part of the story does not seem, or part of the reading does not seem to fit your story, do not force it to fit. Obviously, leave it for who that belongs to. There may be parts of this that resonate with you, and there may be other parts that do not resonate with you. And there again, the whole thing might resonate with you. That's the magic of collective readings. So, if you're new to my channel, I do things a little bit differently here. I am a channel. I'm a psychic medium, but I'm also a channel. So I tend to channel a lot of messages. Every reading is going to be slightly different. Sometimes there are less cards and I channel a lot more. Other times there's a lot more cards and we just get smaller bursts of information coming out. Just depends on what's most needed at that time. And yeah, what we're guided to do here. So I have pre-shuffled all the cards. I have tapped into the collective energy as well as called forth all of your holy ancestors, holy angels, your guardian angels, as well as your spirit guides, and my own, of course. And I also have called in archangels that I work with on a daily basis when I do these readings. So we are all set to go. All right, and I already know that we're going to be starting with this deck here. This is the Shaman's Dream Oracle, if you're wondering. And even though I pre-shuffled, I've been asked to shuffle once more. I hope you're having a great day today. It's a little cloudy here today, and I'm pretty happy about that actually, because it means it's cooler. I'm one of those people who, yeah, I like summer, but it gets pretty hot here where I live. It's hot and dry and deserty. And so, yeah, I don't have air conditioning, so that does play or have an effect on me. And honestly, I'm one of those people who likes moderate temperatures. So I prefer spring and fall, but where I live, they don't seem to last that long. So, all right, Holy Spirit. What message do you have for the collective today? What is our opening message going to be about? Is there something that you want to bring to our attention, or you want me to do? Oh, okay. The crossing initiation. Okay. And 54 is of significance to somebody. Okay. So we've got crossing. Yeah. I've kind of got this general feeling that I don't really need to ask too many specific questions in this energy right now. I had that yesterday too, that it's just a go with the flow, kind of like freestyling things. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, and Root Girl, the Disowned Self, number 46, is of significance to somebody, or maybe of significance. One more, okay. We're going to get one more from here. Oh, it's that one. Oh, I bent that one. Okay. Then we've got the Watchers. Transpersonal. Mm. Sorry, I'm getting stuck in the imagery here. Okay, and number 60 maybe of significance to somebody here. Okay, so what is the message that you would like to channel through here for the collective, Holy Spirit? Ooh, that's powerful. Okay. I just got some chills with that one. Okay, so it seems as though there is an integration process happening right now where you are recognizing specific aspects of yourself that may have been disowned. So parts of you, your inner child, that may have been disowned. And right now, you're in this initiative kind of stage where you are transforming limiting beliefs, maybe parts of yourself that you accepted when you were a child as not all right. I mean, you look at this child here who's looking down, right? And that denotes to me that they are feeling a sense of shame or guilt. So what's really coming through strongly is that spirit is saying right now is if you're not already feeling this energy, that you're going to be feeling this energy and not to shy away from it because it is the next step in your evolution. So shame and guilt or oh, yeah, okay. I'm hearing this may not even necessarily show up within you that you recognize. It may be produced from another person as well. So somebody may be trying to make you feel shame or guilt, maybe projecting something at you that brings up shame or guilt. And this is a pattern that they're wanting you to look at. For others of you, though, you are pulling this up on your own. You're deciding that you no longer want to carry this shame or this guilt. And it doesn't matter which side of that you're on, which story is yours. This is a very sacred part of the healing journey. When we've got the watchers here, transpersonal, you are being guided through this, right? You're also being watched at the same time. So the the higher bees in the realms of light beings are actually watching you go through this transformational journey. You know, you see a crossing here, this bridge. Um, this is you either deciding to cross this bridge into this initiation or this initiative phase of your life. Um, to decide whether or not you're going to take that journey, they are watching. They are watching to see how you deal with these aspects within yourself, because again, it's going to bring up shame and guilt. Whatever it is that you're experiencing at this time is happening to evolve you and to turn you into someone that no longer carries this guilt and shame, these burdens. That's what it is. It's a burden. These are aspects of self, again, that when you were a child were deemed unfit or not good enough, not worthy enough to exist in whatever family dynamic you lived in. Now, this doesn't just have to be shadow or childhood. However, a lot of the initial programming did happen in childhood, which would have led you into situations and attracting specific people or relationships or dynamics into your life that would have been trying to reveal these patterns to you. Okay, so what Spirit's really asking is for you to um, transform this guilt and the shame into a higher power. So you're going in willingly. Whenever it comes up, you're going to recognize it, and at least they're asking you to pay attention to recognize it as it comes up, and to decide in that moment that you're no longer going to disown that part of yourself. Instead, embracing that part of yourself as she or he pops up with a complaint or with a worry or with fear or with hesitation or with whatever it is for you, that you're going to acknowledge that part of yourself because that is a part of your wounded inner child. And when we do this, when we allow for these emotions, these feelings to just come up and we accept them, we nurture them, we unconditionally love our inner child and these parts of us that were deemed to be not acceptable for society or for family or for your culture. What happens then is that they no longer start to fight. They no longer start to trigger you, right? So these are emotions that are attached to experiences that are coming up to the surface at this time so that you can transform them, right? And you have the power to transform that, right? You do have support at this time, additional support I'm hearing, in order to go through this transformational period, but it's definitely important to catch it in every moment. For those of you who are like I did pick up on a somber feeling when I tapped into the energy for today. And so some of you may be already just feeling this somberness, feeling this perhaps it's even sadness, and that can be produced by guilt and shame that you've been carrying, or by continuing to disown aspects of yourself and rejecting them. And so, if you're feeling this energy at all, if you're feeling this somberness or maybe like some sadness and you're not really sure where it's coming from, this is exactly what's being asked to explore is these other parts of you that weren't allowed to come to the surface, right? Maybe it's the one who felt joy. Maybe it was the creative part of you. Maybe it was the part of your child who had an imagination and used their imagination, right? It could be many different aspects of you. Maybe you were told that you were too hyper. Maybe you were not supposed to be seen or heard, right? Um, Whatever it is for you, it's attached to a level of shame and guilt, which is why it's still suppressed. And so these things are coming to the surface, and that's what this energy that you're feeling is trying to tell you. It's indicating to you that there's something below the surface that needs to be um, allowed to come up. And so you're being asked to choose for yourself, because of course we all have free will, to choose for yourself whether you're going to cross this bridge into the shadow, into these aspects of yourself, into the darkness, right? Because before there's light, there's always darkness. And when you see these cards, you see that you're going from this portal, from the light into the underworld, which is your shadow, your emotions, your trauma, your hurt, your pain, the disowned parts of you. And then you're resurrecting yourself after this transformation back into a solid structure. You see here, this is a solid structure made of rock that's been carved. And atop of it is this bright, brilliant light, because every time that you choose to willingly participate in your own healing on your own path, you're taking this yourself, like upon yourself, to take action and to explore these parts of yourself. You always come out more solid. Your foundation is more solid. You yourself become unshakable like this rock. And that allows for your light to be amplified and to be felt, and to, of course, attract what it is that you want in your experience, right? Everything is energy, but if you're carrying this energy of shame or guilt with you about something, then it makes it very hard to manifest anything else because you're manifesting what you are inside. Okay? You cannot just manifest with words and thoughts and ideas, because if you don't change the patterns that are hidden in the subconscious, then you'll still continue to manifest what you are within you. The energy that you emit, this shame, this guilt, these disowned parts, that's what you're going to transmit energetically out to the universe. So while we think about transformation, we think about change through often through thoughts, through words, through our outdated beliefs, through maybe unconscious programming and things like that. Well, it's also energy. And so, of course, while looking at your limiting beliefs and working on how you speak to yourself, how you engage with the world, the thoughts that you put out into the universe, the words that you put out, it's also to do with your energy. And so, all of it has to be looked at in order to come out this other side as this higher dimensional being, as your highest self, integrated with your highest self. And so many of you are taking this journey and deciding to no longer carry some aspect that you've been carrying. And this is process. So this applies across the board to anybody. Whether you're just beginning your journey or you have been on it for a while, this applies to everybody because, again, we take steps, right? And these things come up often. These initiation periods come up often, and we're being watched while we're doing that. To see how we react, or see where we disengage, or see where we cover things up, or see what our intentions are, what our motivations are, what are like whether we're ready for the next step. And that's kind of what's going on here. When we have initiation and transpersonal here together with Root Girl in the middle, then that really tells me that you're being watched in order to see how you proceed willingly or not with this work, and that's going to indicate whether or not your higher self, source, your spirit guides are ready to give you the next lesson. So this is an initiation phase into a higher level of you, but at the same time, you're being evaluated to see where you're at. And if you're not ready for that, that's totally okay, right? You're not being forced into this, from what I'm gathering. This isn't one of those situations um, where as far as I can see, at least, and the feeling that I'm getting, where Source is going to step in and um, kind of force something, because sometimes that happens, and then it feels like the rug was pulled out from underneath your feet, right? And you could experience a lot of loss. I'm getting that this is a choice point, that where you get to choose to do this work, uh, choose how to proceed. At least that's what I'm feeling, is that this is a choice point for you where you actually have the free will to decide or not. But of course, every action that we take or action that we don't take also has a consequence, right? So when we don't deal with the parts of us that are disowned, then of course it limits us. It creates more blockages, more stagnancy, more resistance. It creates more issues in our lives because this energy will continue to control the way in which you proceed with your actions in life. It'll continue to self sabotage you. It'll continue to um, get upset or to feel rage or to feel sadness, or you know what I mean? You may have bouts of depression or bouts of feeling a lack of joy, or maybe even bouts of not being able to feel motivated, right? So these are aspects of self that are needing to be looked at. I just heard that for some of you, this might be where your confidence has been shaken. So for some of you, this has to do with aspects of you that you were um, told weren't worthy or acceptable, um, of being, how would you like me to word that, Spirit? Okay, so this is yeah, okay. This is conditioning for those of you who are resonating with this lack of feeling worthy, or self-confidence. This is conditioning that you received as a child, because when you demonstrated your confidence, you were in competition with other people, other members of your family, could have possibly even been a parent or both. They initiated competition and often might have criticized you for how well you've done or the successes that you brought in or that you wanted to share with those who you thought loved you. And so this diminished your confidence, this diminished your self-worth. Every time that you would try to share one of these aspects, or it could have been even your feelings, every time that you tried to share these parts of yourself, you were cut down, you were criticized, you were possibly even disregarded, your emotions were disregarded, your reality was denied. And so there's, for some of you, that's what's going on with this disowned root girl. So there are parts that are going to be different for everybody, but you're being asked to step into this energy, to embrace it with love and compassion for yourself as well as patience. Because it takes a lot of bravery, and that's the biggest thing. It takes a lot of bravery to accept that that's what's going on, and that this part of you, this disowned child part of you, is actually the one who's still operating, and you're giving power away to them every time they come to the surface, and you make decisions that you're not very happy with. Or you say things that you're not very happy with, or you feel things that result in you feeling guilt or shame. Maybe it's because you're not taking action, or maybe you're taking action, but not in the way that you perceive you would like to be. So there's something out of alignment, and that means that your inner child is in the driver's seat of your vessel, making decisions for you. And you're being asked to look at that, to take that path inwards and to transform that by completely accepting that that's what it is, as well as also not being hard on yourself because it's not your fault that these things happen to you, that you were treated in a certain way or raised a certain way or love was conditional or any of these old ways of operating or existing or understanding the world. It's not your fault that you developed the things that you did because they were your mechanisms for survival. But it is your responsibility now as an adult to recognize them, to accept them, and to love the disowned parts of yourself, your shadow, so that your inner child no longer has the power or the control to dictate how you should operate or show up in the world. And this is a part of this massive transformation that's coming through for you that you're being assisted with. It's so that you can become a solid human being, a solid representation of your authentic self and not be ruled by the pain and the disorder and the experiences of your past. So it's about letting go of the past by accepting parts of you that you've pushed away or that you had to out of survival. Because now as an adult you get to choose and you get to decide where your path goes. You get to decide how to show up. And that takes integrating these parts of you. But with that integration process, we also have to truly respect what our younger selves did for us in order to stay alive, in order to feel loved, or in order to be seen, or in order to be heard. It's all a mechanism of survival. And so we have to really appreciate and value these parts of ourselves as they come up because they're our teacher. All of our pain is a teacher. And so it's the way that we see it, we perceive it, we understand it, that allows us to learn these lessons and to fully incorporate and allow these parts of us to come to the surface and be integrated within us because we need all parts of us. That's what this path also is about, is understanding that no part of us can be left behind. No child left behind, right? I'm sure you've heard that. No child left behind. And I'm not talking about school, but this is to do with your inner child. In order to become whole and solid and to be your authentic self, to radiate this light, we have to go back and pick up the pieces of our broken selves in every situation from the time we were born to right now. We have to part or take all those parts and make them whole again in order for us to be whole. And so it's super important for you to really look at and give love and appreciation and affection to those parts of you. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to yell, yell. If you felt restricted, then break free. You know, whatever comes to the surface, allow yourself to feel it fully and don't judge yourself for feeling it. It's there for a reason. You felt that for a reason. And your inner child is the one who is screaming to be recognized, to be seen, to be heard. And so allow that to come to the surface. That doesn't define who you are. You define who you are in every moment that you exist by making the decisions that are going to allow you to become rock solid in your being and in your foundation. All right. I'm going to have some water here. Okay, which deck would you like me to use? I'm hearing Moonology. Okay. Hmm. This was the order of the cards yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. What else would you like to say, Holy Spirit? For the collective. Cool. Those three. Okie dokie. Okay. So, uh, which order were these in? Oh, okay. Okay, so we've got drawing down the moon. I swear we've already gotten these cards. What? Trippy. I don't know. I swear we've already gotten these cards in a reading in the last week or two. Like this exact set of cards. Okay, we're just gonna go with it. Drawing down the moon, knowledge. So maybe something wasn't learned. Then we've got dark moon, the past. And again, that's okay. I mean, we often as human beings have to repeat cycles in order to learn them. We have to repeat and repeat until we go, what the heck is going on here? It's about your awareness, right? And then we have yin moon, accept help. Okay. All right. What would you like to channel for the collective with these three cards? Please and thank you, Holy Spirit. Mm, okay. It does tie into this message somewhat about um, you're receiving additional help at this time from the Watchers. You are receiving help to transmute this energy and to change it into passion, into creativity, into momentum, into energy, so that maybe you have the energy, right? Because we did pick up for some of you, there's different stories going on here, but for some of you, your energy levels have been low or limited, and it's because of this energy that you're still carrying, right? Or burdens emotionally, or resentment, or anger, um, or deep sadness, or shame, or guilt. All of these can contribute to manifesting different ways within us or within our lives. And so there is this energy of help available for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish by transmuting this. Or if you're not aware of what transmuting this energy would do for you, then to ask for additional help. For some of you, I did pick up that for some of you, there is a need to seek out additional resources. So I don't know who this is for, but I was picking up this energy of depression, or energy of finding it really difficult to connect with this part of yourself, or finding it really challenging to allow yourself to go deeply into these wounds, maybe feeling unprepared, or um, not having the skill set to do that, not knowing how to do that, or how you'll react, or maybe you're emotionally feeling volatile, or more sensitive, or unable to deal with this on your own. And so, for whoever this message is for, it's okay to reach out for help. Okay? I know there's a stigma around these types of things, but often what you find on these journeys, or at least this is my understanding of the world, is that when we go through bouts of, say, depression or anxiety, or even post-traumatic stress disorder, or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, it is situational to a degree, because the only reason why we would ever swing into any mental imbalance is because of what we're experiencing. Even schizophrenics with multiple personalities, they do that. They develop that as a safety mechanism so that they can endure the trauma, the severe trauma that they've been exposed to. So they create different identities that they can then bring forward as representation in order to endure whatever it is that they're going through or experiencing at that time. And that part of their alter ego disappears once that trauma is over. And when they have another different kind of trauma or event happen, then they may develop another part of themselves, right? So every mental health issue, in my own personal opinion, is a result of the experiences that we've had. Okay. And you do have the capacity to work through these things, but for some people, it's easier if you find additional support or resources, such as a therapist, or um, somebody who is trained and qualified to get you to that point without triggering too many other things based on your situation and what it is that you're dealing with, right? So somebody needed to hear that. That message was for somebody specific, and it's okay to need additional help. And it depends on where you live, what country you're in. I'm just speaking for my country personally, but some countries, some states, some provinces that you're in, they do have free resources for that. Okay. If you're not capable of paying for something like therapy, then there are free resources. There's also like BetterHelp online, where it's actually cheaper because of the amount of therapists that are on there, or counselors that are on there. So that might be a more viable option. Or if you have insurance to help you with that, then that's another option. But somebody needed to hear that today. So just know that every thing that happens to us in our lives um, can result in a negative experience that we don't know how to get out of. And conventional medicine only looks at the psychology of our brains and our genetic makeup, but fails to include the whole picture of why that evolved within each of us to begin with. And it's by looking at the holistic viewpoint of your situation, of your life's accumulation of experiences that have ended up resulting in who you are right now and what you're dealing with and what you're coping with and what strategies, even if they're maladaptive strategies, how you're coping with life, right? So when you look at it from that perspective, you can have and hold so much more compassion for yourself and especially for your child self for developing these safety strategies and mechanisms and yeah, maladaptive strategies that it did. And every human being has done this. Every human being. So you're no different than anybody else. You are accepted and loved, and I think you needed to hear that today. Okay? I see you. I see you, and I understand. I do. So that was very specific for maybe one or two. I'm not sure, but somebody needed that today. So I just wanted to let you know that Spirit is here to help you. Okay? And it's okay to accept help and to reach out for help if you need it in whatever avenue that is. I mean, it doesn't even have to be necessarily psychological and emotional. It could be that you need help finding a home, or you need help building a resume, or you need help accessing resources, right? Or maybe even clothes, or maybe even food for your children or for yourself, right? Or maybe you just need food for your pet. Whatever it is, it's okay to ask for help, but you have to get over that part of you that was conditioned not to rely. It's like hyper independence, to rely on yourself only. You have to get over that part and humble yourself enough to actually accept the help. Accept that help is around you, even that it's available, first of all, and then actually take steps to reach out to the right organization or place or person or even your higher spiritual team to help you, or God, source, universe, the creator, whomever you call your creator. And this message is really about having the wisdom to know the difference between the past and the present, right? This is what this is that the strongest message coming through here is that this is about transforming your past in such a way that it creates this wisdom, right? Because when you have experience and you have knowledge here on the table, and both of these two cards go back to your past, what's really coming forward is this integration of the old self of your past. What's really coming through is developing the wisdom to know the difference. So along our journey, we're constantly bombarded with new levels and new limiting beliefs and new things that were suppressed that come forward. And it's like, whoa, I did not know that was there. Hello. But this is a journey of transforming those things and understanding that um, our past was beneficial in creating us, yes, but also having the wisdom to understand that when these parts of our past come up to the surface for healing, that we no longer have to be driven by our past. It's a decision in every moment to allow that to dictate our future, right? Or the present moment. And so you have to be conscious enough of the things when they come forward, whether it's an emotion or a thought or a reaction. Sometimes we have to start at reaction, right? Why am I reacting that way? Oh, because of this feeling. Okay, well, why am I feeling this way? Oh, because of these thoughts. Well, why am I thinking these thoughts, right? We have to go backwards sometimes, and that's okay. But we have to understand that this is an aspect of our journey where we become the conscious creators of our own life by recognizing the things that are still presiding underneath the surface of our ego and our identity, and they're going to reveal themselves, right? So every time you heal one part of yourself and integrate it, a new part of you is going to show up because we've spent lifetime suppressing all those parts of ourselves, right? Just to get by. So expect that these things will come up, but then now you're being asked to step into your power as the conscious creator of your life and to understand that though things are coming up um, to the surface, they're not to be denied. They're not to be left in the past or left behind. They are to be consciously recognized, seen, appreciated, loved, integrated, understood, and allowing that past story, allowing our past versions of self to then die off of um, alongside the work as we do it. So this, what I'm really seeing is this beautiful setup for a specific journey, for a specific end result that you've been wanting for a long time. And it starts with being conscious of your limiting selves as they come forward. And not to allow the past to dictate you. Now, again, we've got accept help here. And you may have limiting beliefs around that. And we kind of touched base on that. You may have limiting beliefs around that because you might have been alone a lot. You might have raised yourself. You might have left home early. You might have been in a neglectful family. You might have been experienced a lot of difficulties, right? Where you were feeling destabilized and where you couldn't trust, or so you learned to trust yourself and you learn to take care of yourself. And you're being asked to not only let go of the past so that you can open yourself up to better, to better relationships, to higher standards of living, higher standards of relationships, friendships, jobs, but to also learn how the giving and receiving process works, because that's what is being limited, I'm hearing at this time, is that you're having some difficulty in the receiving part. You likely were somebody who gave a lot, but to your detriment, right? And now, as you're learning balance in your life, it's important to value these parts of yourself and to accommodate spaces and times and periods within your own life where you get to be the benefactor, where you get to receive. And this is something that needs to be learned. This is a lesson. And so you're being asked to also, while you are looking at these disowned parts of yourself, examine the belief system around receiving, around hyper independence, around you having to be responsible for everyone else's emotions or for taking care of people or for over giving, or maybe even just being the toxic dumping ground for your family or within a relationship. You're needing to analyze where you allowed that and to bring value back to yourself, to value yourself enough to no longer proceed in that fashion, but to also learn to accept help. Because if you can't even accept, say, a compliment from a stranger on the street, I'm not saying from somebody toxic in your life, because generally those are very insincere and there is motivation behind why they're saying that, okay? We're not talking about that. No, 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 no. You value yourself way too much to deal with people like that anymore, right? I hope so. At least in my collective, that's the bar that we're setting, right? But this is about learning to receive um, and valuing yourself enough to receive it. So maybe there are some self-worth issues here. Maybe there are some self-confidence, which would come from your self-worth, that we were talking about before that are affecting your ability to actually receive or to be open even to that energy, right? Because if the universe is trying to provide you with something or opportunities or higher standards of life or relationships, your ability to receive it's going to be based on the energy and the frequency that you're carrying within you. Because again, you're not going to get from the universe what you want, you're going to get who you are at your core. So until you examine these limiting beliefs that you had to be the one to always give, or that maybe you people please, or you overgive, or you overextend yourself, or you put yourself last. These demonstrate to the universe that you don't value yourself, right? So where do you need to bring balance into your life? Where do you need to strengthen your boundaries and set limitations or set healthy expectations for yourself and for others who you are in close contact with? This is really about the value that you feel you deserve, you implement so that the universe brings that value back to you so you can accept that help. But for some of you, it's a matter of like even just learning to accept and receive, period. For others of you, this is when you're further along, then you really need to look at what are you telling the universe through your actions and your energy. Do you really value yourself? Do you really feel worthy of that, of receiving whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, or the next steps you're trying to take, or love, right? All right. Doo-doo. Candle's burning so low today. You barely see it. Okay, which deck? Okay. I'm hearing to wrap it up soon. All right. Not sure why. Uh, we're only at 48 minutes, but I guess. Okay. So where do you want me to go from here then? Spirit? I just heard for somebody I heard self-analysis, which is what this is. But then I heard analysis paralysis. So some of you out there might be air signs. And air signs have a tendency to be, indecisive or seem indecisive to other people because they get stuck in analysis paralysis, weighing out the options, going back and forth, having troubles deciding what is the best thing, or getting confused because there's a lot of information or, you know, Yeah, it's usually how it works. So, um, don't allow yourself to get stuck in analysis paralysis. I heard that if you get into this position of analysis paralysis, it'll bring up fear, it'll bring up anxiety or stress. Um, pardon me, hold on. Okay. It's going to bring up anxiety or stress or more confusion. That's been coming up a lot in the collective readings lately. But in order to pull yourself out of that, you're being asked to ask to slow down, first of all, mind your role, and ask for help. Okay. Ask for the next step and don't take the next step until you receive it. That's the biggest thing. This is going to allow your mind to calm down and also put your mind onto other things for a while. Take it off the task. If you're not sure, like if you're having troubles getting down to the core beliefs or to the core wounds, go slower, okay? Because these parts of your inner child that have been disowned, neglected, and abandoned, right? So think about how that feels. Go back to when you were a child and you felt any of those things. If you felt pushed away, if you felt rejected, if you felt unloved, if you felt um, abandoned, think about how that made you feel. And then you can turn that around to how your inner child feels towards you. That might be a hard pill to swallow, but that's the method. You might be going too fast for them. And then it causes you a bunch of confusion thinking that you're doing something wrong or like you might get frustrated, you might get angry, you might get more confused, whatever it is. It might spark anxiety or depression or and these are um, results from putting too much pressure on a child, right? So you have to go in as though you're talking to an actual child, and you have to develop a relationship where the child will trust you enough to open up. So if you're not able to get through that barrier, remember that. Remember you're creating a bond and safety and security, and you're being the protector of this inner child, and that you have to develop their trust because they're already carrying all of these burdens and these wounds. And so they're not going to just open up necessarily the first time you speak to them in a profound way. Okay. So don't get discouraged. Don't get confused. Don't get up in your head. Um, don't get frustrated or angry at them either because you're sending that right back to them, right? Would you scream at your child? Well, I mean, nobody's perfect. Some people scream at their children, and it has happened that people lose their patience, right? I'm not here to judge. What I am saying is that you wouldn't want somebody to scream at you. So now that you're aware of that, you're aware of how to get in, you're aware of how to gain access, and it might take a little while. It might take a few tries. It might take the right approach. You might need to be softer. And you might want to say the things that you wish you had heard as a child to your inner child. Okay, somebody needed to hear that. Okay, we're going to go with this deck here. We got a few animal spirit messages. I've been really drawn to this deck lately. Holy Spirit, which animal spirits would like to come through for the collective with a message today? Okay. Ah, okay. So we've got fire, tiger. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid, right? Yeah, like you're being backed right now. You're being supported and you're like a shaman goes on a journey or takes you through a journey, right? Into the underworld. You are being initiated into the underworld. You are being taken on a journey and they are helping you with that. Shaman energy did come up in the last reading, and I was saying about tapping into that energy or calling on maybe one of your holy ancestors who was a medicine woman or medicine man or a shaman in a past life, or maybe it was a past life that you lived. Calling on that energy to take you into the underworld will also help guide you, right? But you are being backed at this time, and in a big way. So you're being protected as you take this journey, okay? There's no fear. Like you're being asked to eliminate fear from your repertoire of thoughts um and feelings and allow yourself to sink into this journey with and again with this like this looks like well it's a mix mash of like animals and shapes and but it looks like a shaman, right? It looks like a headdress on the top of the head. And so we've got this energy coming through saying, like, we're with you. We're taking you on this journey if you agree. If you say yes, we'll take you in there. But you have to be open and open to accepting their help as well. You have to call on them. They're not just going to do it for you. Um, and you have to welcome these energies of your Holy Spirits, call on them, and ask them for the help. They won't just intervene on your behalf because you have free will as a human being. So you have to ask for the help. You have to ask to go into the darkness, to go on this journey. And when you do, they'll take you in there, they'll guide you, and they'll help you to navigate it so that you can get to the core root issue. We say issue, but it's not really. Our inner child is not an issue. Might be causing some disruptions and issues in your life, but they are not an issue, right? But they're going to help you get to that core wound so that you can heal it and draw upon your knowledge and your experience to create that wisdom that, is going to make you into this solid human being who's unfuckwithable, let's be honest. All right, so forgot to show you that card. Then we have assertive. We've got cougar. We've got two big cats out today. Wow. All right. In silence, you find power. Claim your leadership role and take action. You know where to go and what to do. You have the courage and confidence to succeed. And that's essentially it. Is like I was saying, this is like a shaman or a medicine man or a medicine woman, somebody who has that wisdom, who guides other people, right? And who is in that leadership role. And so your ability to lead others is dependent on your willingness to go into the void, to go into the shadow, to go into the pain, to retrieve these parts of yourself. Because one cannot fully lead another if they haven't developed these aspects for themselves. If they don't, like, you can't develop wisdom without going into these parts of you and knowing who you actually are. Then you're not showing up as authentic. So you have to traverse in the underworld to really come back with these pieces to become more authentic. And that's what helps you, that's what sets you up to be a leader And you are a leader. If you're watching this channel right now and you have been on a spiritual journey, you are a leader. You're a way shower. You're forging the path for others to walk down because you have some talent, some gift, some special ability that the universe recognizes within you that makes you somebody of importance who can lead others based on your experience, your knowledge, and your wisdom. Okay, so this is what you're building up to be, is that leader. And to be assertive, right, in asking for help to cross this threshold into the underworld and go on this journey is a part of being that leader. Nobody's going to do this for you. You have to be the one to initiate it. You have to be the one to ask for help. You have to be the one to learn and be open to learning whatever is coming forward. Okay, do you want another one from here? It's one more? Okay. There we go. We got two. Do you want both left? Okay. Rebirth. Makes sense. Butterfly. You can reinvent yourself, open to the rewards of change. You have the brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. Yeah. And that's what this is. It's a chance to have a new, fresh start, to rebirth something based on the part of you that you bring out of this journey, right? And it is with that, like I said, it's with that you develop that knowledge, that wisdom to share with others by going on these journeys, right? And transforming that into something that is useful, into a skill set, into wisdom that you can then pass on to create your legacy, to help inspire others, to deliver information and heal the world. So that's beautiful. Okay, and then we are going to get two of these angel messages. Can we get two angel messages for the collective? Thank you. That's one. It's on the floor. I'll get it after. And that. Do you want this one or that one? Oh, funny. Okay. It's funny because this one already came out, so when I was shuffling. Okay, so we have 8888, personal power. Hmm. Material and spiritual abundance, wealth, resources, force, balance, confidence, material gain, epic romance. All that is good and pleasant in your life will multiply. Angels are sending the number to reassure you of the prosperity and well being ahead. Your surroundings will treat you with the admiration and respect. Use it for the greater good. And then we have 1515, the big break. Innovation, focus, creation, progress, forward movement, skills, and goals. An opportunity, help, extra cash, or other support is coming your way, so keep going and have fun when performing your tasks. The most tremendous success comes from passion. All efforts will be rewarded. Big time. Awesome. Yeah. So the message that I'm getting from these two cards and this journeying is that they're interlinked. Your success and abundance and connection to abundance is dependent on your success in actually taking this journey or going inwards willingly to do these exercises with your inner child, as well as in releasing or integrating and revealing limiting beliefs, right? So your success is interlinked with this internal work that needs to happen. And when you do that, when you come out of these things, every time you do, you become more abundant, more magnetic. You um, make yourself a resonant match to the things that you actually desire in your brain to happen, that you want, that you envision for yourself. But energetically, you become an actual match. So you're aligning yourself to that, right? By raising your frequency into that light, into that energy, by letting go of the past. So that's beautiful. And this is a little reassurance I just heard coming through to let you know that every time you take a step into this aspect of self to heal it, new gifts are being given to you by the universe. So that doesn't matter where you are on your journey, you're going to receive new abundance each time in different formats because abundance is not just monetary. But for some of you, I'm getting that this was a block. Monetary success or reciprocation was a block. Just receiving was a block. So it looks like this is healing that part of yourself where you felt unworthy of receiving it. Okay. I do know that we're closing with Rumi cards, but I want to see which one of these two they would like. Okay, crystal. We're going to go with the crystal, and then we're going to close it off with a Rumi card. What crystal will best help be collective at this time? Please and thank you, Holy Spirit. That one? Okay. Compassion. That makes sense, right? We were talking about being really compassionate with your younger self. Adjoit? Ajoite. I might be butchering some of these because this deck has a bunch of crystals that I've never even heard of, and I have a lot of crystal books, so um, it's beautiful regardless. Okay, so look up the meaning and what this crystal helps with and how to apply it to your life. Even if you don't go out and buy the crystal, that's totally okay. You can actually visualize it or you can imagine that it is in your hand while you're doing energetic work on yourself. There's a lot of ways to use crystals without actually having to buy them. You can tap into the energy of that crystal and imagine it growing out of the earth, and then doing whatever releasing or energy work that you're doing, or maybe even journeying. It might help with journeying to the underworld within you. So look it up and see what the attributes are and how you can apply that best to your life. Okay. But compassion. So it does tell me that it is a crystal of uh, deeper wisdom and love, right? To understand the bigger picture might help with processing that information so you can really see the truth of what it is or where it came from or and have compassion for not only ourselves but for those who raised us with limiting programs and beliefs and limiting emotions and all of that as well, because we all have our own backgrounds to why we were created in the way we were. All right, so this says, your love has broken every link. You draw my wayward soul to the harbor of the soul in you. I'm going to place that right here because that seems to be like a love letter from yourself to yourself, drawing you in. Like a fearless moth, dive into the flame. Why be linked to your obsessions? Why be entrapped in such chain? Hmm, yeah. So, whatever this is that's needing to be revealed seems to contribute to some sort of um, way in which you're operating, which has formed, it's habit forming. It was a habit forming, that's the best way I can describe it. It's created a habit. So it's almost like an addiction or an obsession. So this could lean into rumination. This could lean into specific ways in which you behave. It could also lean into an addiction to the chemicals released based on whatever feeling you're feeling. So you might be addicted to that chemical release. Um, but this is needing to be healed for you to be able to step into the next phase of your life, into your new beginning, essentially. And this energy, or I guess the question is, why? Where did it come from? Why is it there? Why am I giving it power? You know, like go deeper, deeper, deeper until you get to the root of it. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Well, I hope you got something out of this reading today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That does help my algorithm out. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe to our beautiful Vibe Tribe. Join this awesome collective. For those of you returning, I'm blessed that you're here. I send you so much love. I prayed over this reading today and sent you guys a lot of really amazing things. So hopefully you're going to be receiving that soon. A lot of additional support, which is interesting because I was sending in a lot of additional support for you. So, um, but yeah, if there's anything that you want me to pray over for you, then please feel free to drop that in the comments. I don't mind at all. For those of you who would otherwise like to leave a comment, feel free. And other than that, I think that's it. I'm going to see you in the next reading. I love you. I hope you enjoy your beautiful Friday. Bye for now.